Talking to buttons, BS detector. Hi there, and welcome to a new segment of Talking to Buttons, where we look at a few of the questionable pieces of media up on the web. I mean, it's really great that we have tons of freedom to put up all kinds of stories, and artists and creatives are getting a lot of freedom. But what about scientists? I mean, before we had a system where scientists had to go through an incredible amount of peer review before they got their message out, and now we've got scientists who can just put up their stuff and get peer reviewed by people who don't know science. And so there's quite a few iffy things on the web. There's a lot of disinformation. So I thought I'd start this little segment where we look at some of the things and we try to decide which ones are true and which ones are BS. So today we're going to look at the watercar. Watercar, I've been studying it for about 10 years. I'm fascinated by the watercar. I really think it would be a cool thing if it existed. So here's the first link. So if you watch that news story, you'll see a fairly standard watercar announcement. I mean, if you do a Google on Daniel Dingle down in the Philippines, there's a guy driving around a watercar. Or Stanley Meyer. Stanley Meyer's an interesting story because he went mysteriously missing. All kinds of paranoia. Here's a link to a blog entry I did in text in 2005, about a year ago, or a little over a year ago, where I was looking at watercars, and I have all the links and everything all worked out, and my grand decision is that maybe it's BS that discusses watercars. And, there's been people working on this idea for a long time. I mean, the bottom line is we have hydrogen cars that are working. Everybody's seen one. They're around. They cost a lot of money to make. Honda has made one recently that they're leasing for $3,000 a month. So, I mean, they've got an awful lot of the standard car parts into the hydrogen car. And, they've got it almost down to the price of a normal car. And you're making hydrogen. You're making hydrogen out of water anyway, even in traditional stuff. But generally, under Ballard type systems, you'd store it in a pressure tank and drive around and nearly die because it's so explosive. Just kidding. And there's other ways. There's hydrides. Hydrides are cool. They you store the hydrogen in something like borax, and you've got a solid in your tank, and it's not going to blow up or anything. And that works pretty well. But in the watercar, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make the hydrogen on the fly. And that's totally doable. It's just you need an incredibly huge battery because generally it takes as much energy to create the hydrogen as it does to drive the car. So we're talking about these perpetual motion machines that can create more energy than is put in. So the bottom line scientifically on all this is low voltage electrolysis possible? Can I split hydrogen from oxygen in water very, very efficiently, even so efficiently that I create more hydrogen than the amount of energy it took me to split the water? And, 99% of scientists are going to tell you, no, that's not possible, but maybe it is. I mean, resonance is an amazing thing. When an opera singer breaks a wine glass, what they're doing is they're singing the sympathetic frequency of that wine glass. But then, to really make it break, you have to worry it. You have to create chaos frequencies. But you excite it by singing the same note as the wine glass, but then you go just a semitone or a semitone higher or lower, and you cause all this friction, this dissonance, and the thing goes flying apart. And you gotta wonder, I wonder if it would be possible to, water is generally thought of as a medium, like air. You're not thinking of it as a structure, but if you thought of it as a structure, could you excite it, and then could you worry it? And if you were worrying it, would it take more, how much energy would it take? What's going on? So today's question, and I'm glad I don't have to vote because I don't know how I'd vote, is the water car BS? Yes, no.